Everybody, hi, and welcome back to Press Me to Cancel. My name is Guy Prime. It's great to be here. I've missed all of you.
So you weren't expecting it. I had to put it in where you weren't expecting.
I would love to talk for the next 45 minutes, just uninterrupted. But it's not in the cards this day. I've got three other rapscallions here on the dais with me. As always, Pulse 109, say what's up.
What is up? Hello, whoever's listening.
It's great to see both of you. Also out there is, Jake. Sick Jake. I don't want to dox you, Jake. Sick Jake. Say hi to everybody.
Jake, sick Jake.
Look.
That's it?
Welcome back, GP.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And as always, my man, WareWulff.
How's it going? How was your tour?
It was okay. Here's the thing. I am not allowed within a certain all hours breakfast chain establishment anymore. I will not say which. I will let you all speculate. And if anybody would like to join our Discord and add their guess as to where and why I am no longer allowed into this otherwise fine breakfast dining establishment, please feel free to do so.
It's got to be IHOP.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, no, you're not missing much. If it's the one I'm not thinking of, then that's a shame.
Actually, everything I just said is a lie. It's not a fine establishment. It's shit.
Well,
So.
again, IHOP. Because IHOP's the only place I know where you get an extra large fountain drink with your pancakes in the morning.
No, I love IHOP,
God.
actually.
Ugh.
It's weird. You know what is great at IHOP is their mozzarella sticks and their steak tips, like their burnt ends or whatever. It has no business being good at the IHOP, but it is.
Yeah, burnt steak is just, that's what you want.
This is not at all what the conversation was supposed to be about tonight. And for anybody who's curious, tonight we were planning on discussing our favorite Konami arcade games. So what I'm going to do, I know typically what I do is go around and I ask everybody about your experiences and thoughts, but I think I will just talk about my experiences first, then I will ask everybody. Does that sound okay?
Sounds like a plan.
I don't care. I've missed you guys. I've been gone for the past 6 weeks, and it feels great to be back. So honestly, guys, thank you for A, allowing me to come back, but B, I don't know if you guys noticed that I was gone. But anyway, I've been listening to the podcast that you guys have put up in my absence, and everyone is just as great as always. So you guys kick ass. That said, what?
New phone, who dis?
Oh my God.
I had to, sorry.
No, I respect the hell out of you for doing that. Okay, so I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. X-Men. The X-Men arcade cabinet 4-player stylies was my jam growing up, and here's why. It was the only arcade cabinet that I liked in Dodge City. I grew up in Dodge City, Kansas. Yes,
That's a real
that
name?
Dodge City, Kansas. Huh?
That's a real town name?
So it's a real town. All the history, it's a real place. I know a lot of people look at it like Camelot, like, okay, how much of that stuff was real and how much of it was made up? But no, those Dodge City stories with Wyatt Earp and Bat Masterson and Doc Holliday, all that shit was real.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, the phrase "get out of Dodge."
Yeah, get the hell out of Dodge, right?
Dodge City is a great town to drive through.
Oh, like Detroit. Yeah.
I spent
Okay.
18 years there.
Jake, you're thinking drive by, all right?
Oh, my
Stop.
God. No, if you are in Detroit and you are listening, we love you. I hope all the best
We
for the
love you,
Lions.
Detroit.
Yeah, okay, so
Don't be jealous, Zimbabwe.
Dodge City, right? Dodge City is a pretty small town. We had one arcade, and it was in the basement of our very small Village Square Mall. And it was basically just like a small U-shaped room. They had some Mortal Kombat cabinets, which I loved, but they were not Konami. But just on the outside of the room, they had the 4-person X-Men one, the left to right beat 'em up, You could be Colossus. You could be Wolverine. You could be Cyclops. You could be Storm. You could be Nightcrawler.
Jubilee.
And Dazzler.
Dazzler, yeah.
Yeah, how can you forget Dazzler?
So
She sparkles.
that is
So does Jubilee.
so that's true. But that is really like that was my first and most prominent Konami arcade cabinet experience growing up. Took so much of my money. I don't think I ever made it past like the 4th or 5th level. And essentially it is just the X-Men characters in what is the same game as the Captain America and the Avengers cabinet, but X-Men was my first experience and I love it, and I've got some more stories. But before I tell those, let's go around and ask everybody about theirs. Sick Jake, let's start with you. What is your favorite of the Konami arcade cabinets?
Well, I want to talk about X-Men.
All right, go for it, dude. Let's do it.
I do too now because that game was awesome.
Right? I think that's part of the reason I wanted to go first, because I kind of had a feeling one of you guys are probably going to mention it, so it's backhanded dibs.
No, I mean, I love, honestly, every game here you guys are going to talk about, I'll probably love. So, but X-Men is one I almost picked. I actually really love that game. It's one of the staple games I played in the arcades, more than Ninja Turtles. I played X-Men. The multi-monitor setup, I think it was 3 monitors for some cabinets. Mm-hmm. It just, playing an arcade game in the ultra-wide screen with 4 players was amazing.
I never saw that. I didn't even know about that.
It's
like
really
it had
cool.
like 2 separate monitors, like one for 2 players, is it?
Yeah, well, 4 players, but you could do 2 players. But yeah, up to 4 players, double monitors, just absolutely massive. But what I was going to mention about this though was this game was based on a pilot cartoon that was put out. Did you guys know that?
I did not.
Puddles the Ninja told me about this because I know he listens. Hi, Puddles. Give me 1 second. You got to.
Hi,
I got to put
Puddles.
this in the notes as well because this is crazy. I think it was Fox. So it was a show. Oops, that was loud. It was in it was a pilot in the late 70s, early 80s, and it was a pilot episode. It never got picked up. It's not the same cartoon X-Men that we got on Fox Kids afterwards, but the intro is
Which was
wild.
also awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, I love X-Men the cartoon. That's one of the reasons why I think I like the game so much. I know this doesn't make really good for audio, but just skim ahead to that, and just fucking wild.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking.
Yeah, so the game is based on this, and I absolutely love it. The X-Men, as an arcade game, just a variety of enemies. The bosses are cool, and like, as a kid, I didn't realize this was based off of a canceled cartoon, right? But I just always associated with the newer one in the comic books. But I love X-Men.
It's awesome.
And for good reason.
Yeah. Yeah, I had no idea about that. That's wonderful.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll end up coming back to touch on X-Men. Okay, but before we move on, do you guys remember when they would do their special? Because everybody had their own special. My favorite noise, probably top 3 in all of arcade history. Yes, it's Colossus. His power move is like his adamantium skin flying off of his body, and like the energy it produces destroying everybody. And then you get to see his naked skin for a minute, which is dope. And he's like, "Ugh!" And it's wonderful, and it will forever be embedded in my brain as the quintessential arcade noise.
Yeah, I don't blame you there.
Cool, thank you. All right, so Jake, what's your pick?
Okay, so as great as X-Men is, the one I picked actually is another game that I played loads in the arcades, and it's The Simpsons. I loved.
Which Simpsons? Because what weren't there a bunch of Simpsons games?
In the arcades, was there?
No, I think there was just the one arcade Simpsons.
So there was the one originally in the 90s. Yeah, it was a beat 'em up. There was a driving one later on, I think, and there's a bowling one. But I'm talking about the original Konami beat 'em up, where if you're playing emulators today, odds are you play as Marge because she was the default player 1. But it has Homer, Bart, Lisa, and again, much like X-Men, you can do up to 4 players at once. And the cabinet was huge. But it's
Lisa sucked from what I remember.
Did she? I remember.
I
Not
don't know.
liking Bart. Marge has a vacuum cleaner though.
Marge and Homer were better single player. They were stronger. I think Bart and Lisa were better if you played as a duo.
Yes, because if you had the 2 players, you had the tag team attack. I think I could never get it to work. I tried playing this last week with my kids, but it didn't work.
Yeah, that was what I was doing the scream for, is because Bart and Lisa had the tag team attack where they'd lock arms and just run up and down run around the screen screaming at everybody and running through them.
Yeah. Yeah, because Marge on her own, you're right. She has the reach because she swings the vacuum cleaner around, and it's just awesome. And her very basic controls, much like X-Men. You have attack, and you have jump. But if you push them at the same time, with Marge, it did a butt bash, like literally her ass slams in enemies, and that's how you beat this game in like a buck. Because if you just do the butt slash or butt smash, like even the bosses, the butt slash, it's a whole other movie. But that move does a ton of damage against bosses, and I love it. The only thing that's weird is that the story makes very little sense. For some reason, Smithers is a bad guy trying to steal a diamond, and ends up falling in Maggie's mouth, and then he kidnaps Maggie because she has the diamond.
Oh right, yeah, because he like it falls out and like it just lands in her mouth, so she's got that instead of the
pacifier.
Yeah, the soother. So, and that's the excuse for Smithers to kidnap a baby and flee across the country.
As you do.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, there have been more outlandish episodes of The Simpsons, to be fair. So
This is out there, though. But
yeah, it is out there. But at the same time, if any cartoon could pull that kind of thing off, it's The Simpsons.
yeah,
True.
But,
This is The Simpsons in their prime too. So
yeah, and that's the thing. It's definitely the Simpsons are at their prime, with they're being slapped on all kinds of shitty merchandise, which is why I'm surprised the game is actually good. I actually like it quite a bit. The sprites are very accurate to the cartoon, right? Whereas, some Simpsons games like Bart versus the Space Mutants, Bart looks like trash. But
yeah,
in this arcade game, it looks good. There's mild cutscenes between levels. Music is decent. There's bonus levels. It's really quite good.
it felt like you were playing a cartoon.
Yeah, and it was
Yeah.
not super hard either, which is my thing.
I gotta disagree with you on that one. I once spent like $9 on it and couldn't beat it.
Was there a
Oh.
certain part you got stuck on?
The part that eventually like wiped out my last $2 or $3 was Mr. Burns.
Well, yeah. So he's an S for sure. He's a difficult boss fight. He's also the last boss and takes a ton of hits.
I
Spoilers.
was just thinking about this episode. You're going down, my friend. Yes, sir, Mr. Burns. That's what he said.
Well, what's neat is if you play the Japanese version of The Simpsons, because I did that for a charity stream a couple years ago, there's a whole bunch of differences. But a couple, you can actually extend your life bar through the bonus games, and you can get more than maximum health with the food pickups. So the game is actually easier than the American version.
Weird.
Nice.
The other thing, too, is for some reason, there's nuclear bombs throughout the level in the Japanese-only version, which feels weird and a little culturally insensitive.
Is it Smiling Joe Fission? Because he was in the comics. Or in the
Oh,
cartoon.
no. I know that character, but no, it's literally just atom bombs, like nuclear bombs.
Oh.
And you pick it up, you drop it, screen kill. And it's not in the
Nice.
American version at all. So there's differences there to make it easier. But I think it's a great co-op game.
Now, I want to ask, because to me, this is a very important aspect of arcade games and the whole experience. I touched on it very briefly with Colossus. What is the sound quality? Because you had talked about, like, the gameplay, and even though the story is a little bit flimsy, whatever, it's still great and a lot of fun. But if I remember this game accurately, and I'm fairly certain I do, the sound bites are not great. The music is okay, but the sound bites are kind of hokey and copy and pasted off of the usual Simpsons noises. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they're scratchy. It's not the greatest audio quality. But
Are they itchy and scratchy? I had to.
No, it's the legit actors, I think. Like when Marge dies and she comes back on screen, it's usually like Marge, and then Bart, if he's idle, I think he says, "Who the hell are you?" And it sounds true to the cartoon,
Right. Okay.
but it is not the stellar quality. But it's also the 80s or no 90s
91.
91. That's early.
I just checked my mind power.
That's still the 80s. What are you talking about?
Yeah, the 90s, just the 80s.
It's a fluid term. We don't really know when the 80s ended. That is a throwback joke. Well done, guys.
The meta.
Yes.
Great.
Didn't one of you guys try to tell me that you looked into it and the 90s actually ended or the 80s ended in 94? Right around the time Zach and Kelly broke up for the fourth time?
Sub-Zero Lopez, please.
Sub-Zero Lopez.
Dude, I don't care. I was happy because I thought I had a chance when they finally broke up.
Right, that's when all the fan mail came in.
Yeah.
He never really loved you. You don't need to work at the max if you're with me.
Yeah, and then I'm just like, and I could pretty much just copy and paste it and send it to Zach Morris too, because if I'm going to switch teams, it's going to be for someone like Zach Morris.
Sure, I'm there with you. Yeah. Okay. What, Wolf? Can we move on to Wolf for a minute?
Yeah, let's go to mine because I'm pretty sure the game I picked is not going to be something a lot of people have played. So,
I swear to God, if there's a Yakuza game that you're about to discuss, I will lose my mind.
No, so because The Simpsons is really the only one I had a lot of experience with in the arcades.
Jake, you took that from him.
Damn.
Yeah, I was like, well, I don't really have any, so I had to go through and pick one. And so I was looking through at the assortment of games that Konami did that were beat 'em ups, and there was one that I came across called Gaiopolis.
That's where we have our family reunions. I'm sorry, I had to.
It was an overhead style. I guess it feels kind of like Golden Axe if it were 3/4 overhead view, and most of the progression were vertical instead of horizontal.
That's fucking with my childhood. I don't like the sound of that.
And so it's I kind of dig it. Like, you can pick between 3 characters. There's a dragon man,
Sold.
prince, and a fairy girl.
Sure.
I'm sold already.
And so I was like, all right, this seems kind of cool. I'll check this one out. And I mean, it has very loose RPG aspects to it. And by that, I mean, like, every few levels, you might find a piece of gear that gets tied to a character, and you have absolutely no idea what it does. That's basic. And you get level ups as you go through the game just by killing guys. I guess you get more health and do a little more damage. That's all I could figure. I played through this game beginning to end, about half of it with my kid, the other half without. Unfortunately, of the 3 characters, the only one that actually has any depth is the fairy girl.
Cool with that.
Yeah, like she actually has special moves, whereas the other characters don't seem to have much going on. They're basically walk around, hack and slash, use spells, things like that. She's got actual combo moves where you spin the D-pad and she does like a spinning kick and beats things up around her. It's pretty cool. I probably use that a lot for almost every boss, because while she's in the middle of using that, she can't be harmed. But let's talk a little bit about the actual game, because it looked cool in concept. I played through it, and oh my god, this story is bad even by 1993 terms.
Oh, take that back.
There's got to be worse.
Was that also when Mortal Kombat Annihilation came out? Because that might be actually pretty accurate.
I'm sorry, my audio just cut. Hold on.
You just said Chung-Li is in the upcoming Mortal Kombat movie.
Okay, I've got audio again.
And she uses Wing Chun.
Tonight?
Sure.
Everybody have fun tonight?
That's a great concert.
That's Wang Chun.
I actually played this game, everybody knows Gaiopolis, 1993's classic, directed by Hiroki Ashida.
Oh, that Gaiopolis. Yes.
Yeah. No, this isn't the family reunion thing for you. Sorry. That's a different subject. That's a different episode.
I'm looking at video. This game looks good.
I'm pretty sure I saw this game in arcades as a kid and never really gave it a shot, but I looked at it. Looking at it now, it looks like it's going to be a pretty fun time. And I mean, I guess it's up to 3 players, maybe just 2. I don't know.
I think it's 2.
I think it might be 2, but there's 3 characters you can pick from. Yes, there's
an NES version.
there is an NES. It's a completely unlicensed release.
Oh, is it bootleg or something?
Nintendo nor Konami apparently okayed this.
Yeah. From the fine people who brought you Final Fantasy IX on the Nintendo, it's Gaiopolis.
You're playing through this game. You're mostly beating up dudes in armor, and then you'll find little guys who help you, like a little armadillo knight, a little dragon that flies around with you, stuff like that. So it's very fantasy, right? And then you get like 2-3 levels in, and all of a sudden there's tank treads on the ground that smash through a building, and that's all you get to see of it, right? you're progressing a little further up the map, and you see this tank just come blasting through from the side across the screen. It can run you over, I think. It scared the crap out of me, and I was like, okay, so we're getting a little crazy here. By the time you get to fight that boss, it starts as a tank, you take out the treads, it falls down on the ground, and readies itself as a freaking mech walking around, right?
This is a fantasy game, right?
Yeah. You take out the mech
This
form,
is not a documentary game?
it falls down again and gets back up and reorients itself as a dragon mech.
Oh, now we're talking. Yeah, baby.
I'm pretty sure that boss had 5 phases to it or something stupid
Oh,
like
wow.
that. It was crazy. As you're progressing through the game, the story is like, just bear with me here. The story is bad and bonkers. So the writing is awful. We're gonna just say that now and not acknowledge that again. We're not gonna talk about the writing at all anymore.
Where is it in terms of like all your base are belong to us? Because that's my metric these days.
I don't know. At some point, the heroes hijack a ship and threaten the guy who owns the ship to take them somewhere. And I'm like, this doesn't seem very heroic. You're going to take us here. The prince, who's supposed to be like the main hero of the game, holds this guy at gunpoint. He's like, the captain of the ship is like laying down drunk on his ass on his ship, right? And the prince is like, you're taking us to this place or you're going to die. And the captain's like, please, anywhere but there. And he's like, nothing. You're taking us there. And I was like, damn, heroes just went evil.
So your protagonist straight up looks at the dude and he's like, look at me. I'm the captain now.
Yeah, basically.
We need to get that meme made for this. Can that be the...
Yeah.
Can we put the protagonist face over that guy for that Captain Phillips or whatever it was?
I think I could do that.
Awesome.
So he takes them down to this other continent that's, I guess, not often visited. And as you're cruising up on the cliffside that they start you on, you start to see what looks like the ruins of what we would perceive as a modern city in the background. And you get up and you see these creatures that are like egg things with faces. And you're like, what the hell is this? So I started to try to attack them, and then it just instantly went to another cutscene. And it was a robot named Robbie telling us about this ancient civilization where it was all humans once. Basically destroyed their civilization from war. And that it's happening again. And then you end up finding later, like you work your way across the continent a little further. You end up going to a floating city, an ancient floating city that's all held up. Like,
Yeah.
apparently this is like super distant future at this point, right?
It's like how many billion years in the future?
74 billion years in the future.
You're sent on this quest to collect 3 keys. You're not told why you need the 3 keys, but you need the 3 keys. On that quest, you find a winged man named Flap. This is great. Who you meet him descending through a cave in a mountain range. That's where you meet him. And he's like, I can't leave this place. I have to protect it from the evil of the world. So after you've collected the 3 keys and you're clear across the world, he shows up and he's like, here I am. I couldn't leave that place, but I'm here now. I'm like, why could you leave now? And then all of a sudden he turns into this phoenix and they're like, oh my God, you're the legendary golden hawk. I was like, nobody told me about a legendary golden hawk until now.
Of course, the legendary golden hawk. We all know about this.
You get your sewer surfing level next,
Okay.
where you have blocks coming down, smashing into you. You're collecting items, knocking people off of their platforms as you're flying across a highway to that floating city I mentioned. You go up into the sky to get to that it's so over the top. You get up to that floating city. The enemies keep like airdropping bad guys at you from a plane. And finally, they decide to stop dropping out of the bottom of that plane and jump out of the cockpit and put a hole in the plane. And then the plane just spins away and falls below, and you get to see it fall down and explode in the distance. And I'm like, that wasn't very efficient. They destroyed their own plane. I don't get it.
I wanted to ask you something right now.
What's up?
Please tell me this is 4 players so we can all play it together.
I think it's only 2.
It looks like 2.
And there's only 3 characters anyway.
I mean, one of us can play doubles. There's always like two. There's always two Gilius Thunderheads in Golden Axe.
But even the legendary Golden Hawk is like, I can't help you in combat. Like, well, then why is this such a big deal?
Why are you so legendary then?
Moral support. Legendary shoulder to cry on.
Yeah, he dries your tears because he's a phoenix.
Yeah.
You take on the king, who is apparently he's trying to resurrect a god. Now, this god that they're trying to resurrect is not a fan of the overpopulation of humankind in the world, and so that's why they're trying to bring this guy back. But there's humans who are trying to bring him back. I don't get it. You kill this king who's trying to do this, and he starts this little ritual to open up the portal to bring their god out, right? He falls into the portal, his god catches him and brings him back out. And now the god is released, and you're like, oh, fuck. And the god is just like, well, bye, and drops dude back into the portal and flies away. I was like, damn, that's messed up.
I want to ask you something that is kind of a tangent to this, but it kind of relates. What did you say when I was going to join you guys playing Valheim last night?
Oh, shit. Let's see.
You were like, no spoilers, no spoilers.
Bring your wonderful
okay.
self, but check your spoilers at the door. I mean, come on. I don't expect anybody's going to play this game. It's not that great.
You know, that's
it
fair.
Was not as good as I was hoping it was. The ending made no sense. The game was just, it's all over the place.
I'm looking at the video of this game right now, and I played a little bit of it before. This game is fucking awesome. Are you crazy?
Dude, it's really pretty.
You're flying across a highway. There's these golems swinging axes around. You're riding a manhole cover, it looks like. The elf chick is hot. What else do you want? This game is awesome.
Jake, are you okay?
I think this game's good.
This game is hot garbage.
Wow.
Well, I'm sure the story sucks. I mean, that's not uncommon for arcade games. But the fact that there's cutscenes and dialogue, I think is amazing for an arcade game. This game looks good.
Arcade games did not need stories for me because they were all about the graphics and that experience of just like, I can't play this at home. So it was extra forgiving for me because I didn't give a shit about the story back then.
I think this game was, based on the credits I ended up having to use, I would say this was probably $10 in quarters to beat back in the day.
I can see that. It does look hard.
And it's not a short game. Like, you would have had to spend probably 2 hours at the arcade, if not more, playing through this.
Holy shit. That's, yeah. Well, at least you're getting your money's worth then. I would not feel that bad spending $10 in 2 hours in an arcade, to be fair.
I'm doing a little bit of reading here also. Apparently this is a sequel game or a spin-off game based off the 1991 Simpsons arcade game. So that previous world of overpopulation, and they destroyed themselves with war, is specifically the Japanese cart where there were nuclear bombs.
Smithers really is the villain after all.
Yeah, plot twist. I know, no spoilers, but there you go.
They do have a nuclear plant that they control and can do whatever they want with, so.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good point.
I just look at the screenshots, and it reminds me of Beyond Oasis, like in the style. I know it's not the same type of game, but it looks damn pretty.
I can see, like, there are aspects that are definitely in line, probably more in line with Legend of Oasis as far as the sprite style goes, because the sprites were much bigger in Legend of Oasis.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the game itself is beautiful. It's very colorful. It's got decent kinds of effects going on with sprite manipulation and backgrounds, and when there's multiple parallax. There's some spots where there's actually some parallax, which is, it's not super common since you're mostly looking down, but it's there. The game itself, once you've played a couple of levels, it's kind of lost its charm.
Don't tell me that. I want to play this game now.
I played it through to the end to have it beaten. I wasn't enjoying the second session I played of it.
Okay.
I like everything you're saying. You said two words right at the outset of your discussion that really evoked some strong emotional response in me, and those two words were Golden Axe. I'm sorry that the thing I resonated with was Golden Axe.
Golden Axe is far better.
No.
The Golden Axe instead.
I never made it far, and I want to explain why. Not that this is a tangential This is to the
Yeah.
side of that. And Paul, we're getting to you here in a second, I promise. But Golden Axe was probably the second game I'd ever played arcade-wise. And it was down like this small hallway at Godfather's Pizza in Dodge City, Kansas. So I would pump in quarters until the pizza showed up. And I sucked at arcade games, but fuck me if I didn't love Golden Axe. What a dope time. And now every time I smell Godfather's Pizza, I'm taken back to Golden Axe. So thank you for bringing that up. In the weeks that we've been discussing about putting this episode together, never once did Golden Axe enter my brain space, and I feel bad about it now. So I had to jump in and make sure to show love to Golden Axe.
To be fair, that one's Sega and not Konami.
I don't feel bad because Golden Axe is a terrible game. Like Golden Axe is the reason why I hate beat 'em ups originally.
What?
So
Jake's back.
This is a whole other discussion. This is going to be a whole other episode.
It's okay, fine, another episode, but it's a bad game. It's not good. The only one that's good is like the third game, which I never played in arcades. But the third game, the dwarf Gimli there can ride the back of a giant, who can then ride another monster, and you get this triple tower thing. That's cool. But Golden Axe 1, trash game. I don't like it at all.
How do you save the planet?
Well, okay, fine.
So, Polish 109, what's your Konami arcade game?
I can't remember anymore because Jake just like blew my mind. My
Geopolis,
childhood.
S tier. Golden Axe, forget about it.
Wasn't it Ninja Turtles?
My favorite. No. I thought that's what Guy Prime was going to go with.
Yeah,
but
me too.
It was close, but no, it wasn't really close.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That was a good choice. But for me, this one, I can remember it playing in my grocery store of my hometown, which I'm still in, sadly. But it was hilarious because it's in the middle of a grocery store in a town of less than like 8,000 people, in the middle of nowhere. And then you have this one cabinet there blasting away over against the wall. And all you hear is like, you know, that 90s MIDI grunge metal sound effects. From Konami, we have...
Gal Panic.
Oh, well, that was another one. That was the runner-up. But Crime Fighters.
See, I'm sad. I thought GP was going to talk about Ninja Turtles. I would have talked about that. I would have played that again. Fuck Guypolis.
We can talk about Ninja Turtles after we've all... So I've got a couple other titles I want to mention, and so we'll throw it in there. But yeah, I want to hear more about the not at all generically named Crime Fighters.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the best part about it is it's what I like about it is probably how generic it is because it's a 4-player game. There's a 2-player version as well, but it's the exact same thing, just doesn't have 4 joysticks for it. But it's depending on, it's like when you play X-Men or Simpsons, you know, the color of your character depends on which joystick you have. And so I always played player 1 because I got to be the blue jeans. This game, I swear to God, could have been the perfect sales pitch for Levi's in the 90s. Because like everybody had blue jeans on, and if they weren't blue jeans, they were like black, red, yellow, green. Like they were just like, it was just, I swear to God, you could sell jeans for this game.
Blue Jeans, the fighting game.
Yeah, and so like the characters are cool. Like it's really simple. It's just to like beat them up. You're punching, and the thing is, I like the simplicity of the combat is like you'll punch or you'll kick. You can kick behind you to like protect your rear from the enemies, the flanks, and then you can kick them while they're down is the best part. And the game actually encourages you to do it. If you knock an enemy over, it just flashes kick, kick, kick.
Yeah, it encourages you to be an asshole. It's great.
And it's great because like the sound effects are so over the top. Like every time you do like a regular punch combo, it just goes like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it knocks them over. And it's always like these super bassy, super heavy duty things. The kicks sound the exact same way. It's just satisfying. Like it's just the motions they kind of go through because it's like you'll do a jab, you'll do a cross, and then the next thing you know, you do that like double-handed fist, like hammer or smack down on top of them, and the next thing you know, they're flying away. You can every now and then, if I haven't figured out how to do it still, but I think you like walk up to grab them. I think you have to hold up or down or something when you're punching, and you can start like kneeing them in the stomach. And every now and then, at random, you'll give them the money shot, and all you hear is a cash register go ching, and they grab their crotch and start hopping away like they're stunned, and it's the best part. So like you got these super serious looking sprites. They're trying like you can see the muscles on the dude's back through his shirt. You know, like he's just that muscle bound, and all these guys are just like, you know, they got the punk rockers, they've got the greasers with the white tank tops and the knife and stuff like that. I just get a kick at all the faces that are just kind of, you know, they're faceless, but you can see all the muscle definition and stuff. So I just loved it. But every enemy was like this generic copy of something else.
Well, yeah, I just want to make sure I'm picking up on what you're saying. So you go around and there's these dudes in blue jeans who you fist until the money shot happens?
Yeah, exactly.
It's a great game.
I'm in. Yeah.
It's a great game. Yeah. But the best part, like what I was saying, is generic, like the name, Crime Fighters, sounds super generic. All the enemies are generic too, because you have like this mullet-wearing Travolta Nicolas Cage with a knife. Like it looks like Nicolas Cage in, was it Moonlighting or whatever it was with Cher. Just has like the tank top on and the hair, the greasy hair. This dude, he always walks around with a knife, so you can take his knife. There's a Morgan Freeman on steroids, like he's like twice as tall as you, and like he picks you up over your head and throws you over.
But is a Bobo in it? That's what I need.
Well, the closest we got to a Bobo is like this Dolph Lundgren lookalike.
That'll work.
Oh
there.
yeah.
It looks like he's got like a flag tattoo on his shoulder or something like that. He's just walking around again in either neon red or orange neon red or neon orange Levi's. And he looks like he's skipped leg day, but he'll take you and he throws you at the background. So it's like never get close to the guy.
I was gonna say I watched Paul's play a fair chunk of this, and it was a lot of fun. There was definitely a Reverend Camden in there too.
Oh yeah, dude. That was so the dad from Seventh Heaven is dressed as a ninja essentially. And the only way you can really hit him is by doing that back kick where you kick behind you like a mule kick. I could not find a way to hit him otherwise. And he's like, he'd jump over you and then back and forth. Well, the bosses are just beating the crap out of you. And yeah, the dad from Seventh Heaven became one of the regular enemies that I feared the most. But the bosses, all the bosses, they all had original bosses, and they had original generic bosses. They have a guy with a hockey mask on, looks like Jason, but from Friday the 13th, but instead of a machete, he's got a giant axe. You got Freddy Krueger, but if you've seen the first movie where Freddy Krueger's walking down the alleyway and his arms stretch out like 20 feet wide, and he's just scratching down the walls with his claws. It looks like he tried to shrink his arms back and they never quite went back. So like he looks like a scarecrow almost.
Also missing his hat.
Yeah, he doesn't have his hat, but he definitely has the sweater. There's like a mall cop that meets like a federal agent combo. You can't tell which one he is, but he's just another boss that has a gun, so you gotta be careful. And then there, like this, I can't remember if it was the last boss or the second last boss, but it looked like Bleeding Gums Murphy from The Simpsons with a machine gun.
Oh, wow.
Second to last.
Yeah, so he came out with like machine guns out of the back of a limo, starts like just pelting you. And there's this one boss that I can't tell what he looks like. It just looked like my friend's dad in real life, but with a chain for a weapon.
Oh, yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah, so like this dude with a beard and a ponytail and glasses on, but he walks around angrily with a chain instead of just walking around with like a beer can.
Sure.
But yeah, no, it's just so fun because I was playing it and I lost track of how much money I spent credits wise, and if it was for argument's sake, it would have been at least $15 to beat the game if it cost a quarter per credit, because the first 3 levels you might be able to get through without dying if you're good, but it becomes a matter of just feeding the quarters in. And when you finally beat the game, I'm not gonna spoil the ending, but it's pretty awesome. It gives you a bonus level where you fight every boss at once, and I spent probably $10 worth of coins in there alone.
Yeah, that was a hell of a fight.
Yeah, so it was pretty intense. They had all these super serious looking characters trying to make everybody look badass, but there are points where like if you get crushed, you can get crushed by like a sign or like a door to a shop will open and smash you, or you can run over by a steamroller and it turns you into, it looks basically like River City Ransom characters all of a sudden.
Yeah,
It's
like
just great.
slapstick comedy. It's really good.
Yeah, so it's just, if you like beat 'em ups and you haven't played this game, you have to play Crime Fighters. It's just satisfying. It's hard, but I mean, you're going to be playing it probably on MAME anyway, so it's not like it's going to cost you that much money.
It's hard unless you get the gun. The gun in that game is unlimited ammo, and as long as you
Yep.
keep your distance, you can just cheese any boss, and it's great. The weapons are really fun.
Yeah, is you get hit once and you lose your weapon is the worst part, so
Yeah.
they make you work for it. But the gun can't be that strong because it, on average, the weakest guy takes about 7 hits. So I'm like, okay, so full magazine worth of rounds to take the first, like the cheapest enemy in the game, but it's just satisfying to do. I took out a boss earlier tonight when I was playing it again just for fun, and I was like, yeah, I'm the man.
You are the man.
So, yeah, you guys check that out if you haven't played it. Anybody listening, it's if anything, look it up and see if you can find the art for the cabinet, because they basically just hired actors off the street to dress like punks, and it looks so like you could tell they just said we need somebody to dress up as a generic punk and a generic beefcake and a generic bad like businessman bald guy with a cigar kind of thing, and they nailed it. It's just
They
priceless.
nailed it. They drove that shit home.
Yeah.
And a quick little aside, I could be wrong if somebody wants to double check my mind palace here. I think today is actually the birthday of the famous gene creator Levi Strauss.
If it isn't, it should be.
No. Like I'm serious. If somebody wants to double check me, I'm pretty sure that's accurate.
Wait, what? No. Don't throw facts. Now I gotta look it up.
Yeah, do it, please. I want to know if I'm right.
It up, Jake. Check your mind pulse.
Right. So,
Wow.
what
Are
are the
you
odds of
fucking
that?
kidding me? How the hell do you know that?
I could tell you, but it's nonsense. I was on my social medias today, and a friend that I went to high school with back in Dodge City, named Levi, was celebrating the Levi Jeans creator's birthday today. I saw his post. So shout out to Levi from Dodge City. Actually, everything he posts on social media is pretty fire. But yeah, so I just kind of scrolled past it, but it stuck with me. And then lo and behold, we had the opportunity to discuss it. So that's awesome.
Shout out to Levi from Dodge City.
Yeah.
We love you.
Yeah.
And Levi Strauss, thank you for the jeans.
Born February 26th, died September 26th.
Well, okay, that's bringing the energy down, but that's fine. And so it sounds like we have another Simpsons sequel with Bleeding Gums. Is that right?
It's a rich tapestry of Simpsons games and spin-offs.
Yeah. Basically, I'm sure they just swapped out the sprites
Yeah.
at the end of the day.
Sure.
Before there was Futurama, there was Crime Fighters.
Yeah, all these great beat 'em ups, and I mean, honestly, I'd play any of them again. So,
Yeah.
And now I want to play Guyiopolis. So,
Guyiopolis looks like a blast.
Yeah. My curiosity is piqued with Guyiopolis. And also, just hearing, okay, anytime I hear any of you guys say it's a must try, then clearly I'm going to do that. But with Crime Fighters, am I saying that correctly? Is that the right name? Crime Fighters? It's not the Avengers or anything like that, right? It's something.
no, it is Crime Fighters.
Okay. So, yeah, of course I'm going to try that. And I want to take a minute here to give a shout out, give a little bit of love to somebody, if I may. So I had the opportunity over the last week or two to play a lot of these arcade games. The Simpsons I played. Obviously, I got X-Men. I had mentioned Captain America and the Avengers was on there. But there's a friend of mine who's also a Twitch streamer. His channel is Arc80s, ARC80'S. But he builds these arcade cabinets that are high quality. I know that there are other arcade cabinets that you can go to, like Walmart, not a sponsor, and buy that are kind of particle boardy. But this guy made this absolutely dope-ass, full-size, just like you're a child again, arcade cabinet. And he loaded it with just dozens and dozens, and I mean this, like 800-plus games. And he has it out at a local nerd curio shop in Wichita called Hero Haven. and he had it wrapped in like this Captain America vinyl, and it's on free play. So I just went out there and played every game I could recognize that didn't have Japanese lettering, and I got to tell you guys, I loved it. It was a great experience. I was never huge into arcade games outside of the probably dozen that I had played growing up. X-Men, Captain America, like I said, Simpsons was on there, the Ninja Turtle stuff, Ninja Gaiden, Punch-Out, all these great things. And then, of course, the fighter games as well. But they were all fucking there. And this guy is dope. I know him in real life. He's a good friend. But check him out, or you can find his shop at Arc 80s. And I like to show love. You guys know we're trying to do this more. Show love to other streamers and other friends. And he is my arcade guy. So if you ever buy from him, tell him GP sent you. And thank you for letting me go off on my tangent. You can edit that out if you want to. But this guy is really, really fucking dope. And I wanted to show him some love.
Sweet.
Well, like, because...
Where?
Yeah, I know that sounded like a commercial, but the shit's tight. And I wish, like, his pricing is good. And, again, you can edit this out. His pricing is good, and I feel like if people actually look him up, we're going to get more quality arcade cabinets in people's homes, and I think everybody should have that.
That's actually one of the things I always wanted was an arcade cabinet. And, like, I've been looking at the arcade one up and stuff, but I want a full-size cabinet. That's so expensive.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, this guy, I'll talk to you later about all that stuff, but if you ever have had an inkling to get an arcade cabinet for your home, this guy could do it for you. And again, it's quality. It's like if you were to stand there with your hands on either side, you could not sway it back and forth like you could with, the one-ups or whatever. And you don't have to buy an extra stand to get it to be taller. This shit's just full size.
Yeah, that's what I want. I don't want a riser. I don't want some IKEA furniture. I want,
Yeah.
when I'm playing Golden Axe and I'm getting salty and I want to tip the machine, I don't want it to let me.
Right.
That's why you don't like Golden Axe, because you just suck at it.
Oh,
Hey,
shit.
man. Everybody sucks at Golden Axe. You show me somebody who can beat that in one credit. They don't exist.
Dude, I almost did.
Bullshit.
I swear to God. I swear to God. I was on a ferry. I think I told this story already on podcast at some point, but I was stuck on the ferry, and it was like what was it, 24 or 36 hours? I think it was 36 hours. There's one game in this thing, and they had a room. Their quote-unquote arcade was a room that was enough for, if you crammed them side by side, there was maybe enough room for a dozen, and no room to walk around, right? Like you had to walk in and almost shimmy your way in because it was so crowded. By the end of it, they only had one, and it was a Golden Axe. And so I started playing it, and I realized if you do it all on one credit, then you get way higher score, because I was just, playing it over and over again. I didn't have any option to switch games. So I decided to only put one quarter in there, but it was just like habit. If I died, boom, quarter. So what I made a point of is go with one quarter in my pocket and left the rest in the cabin on the ferry. So if I died, I'd have to run back to the room and come back up and put in another one. So by then the countdown was over and I had to start over. So by the end of it, I got up to Death Adder, and so I was fighting 2 skeletons and Death Adder, and I had down to 1 skeleton and Death Adder, and then I screwed up. I was basically doing left and right, just doing that dodge tackle attack, knock them off their feet, and then, so it was taking forever, but I almost did it.
All right, I have a follow-up question, Paul. That's a great story. It is. And I'm not trying to bust your chops.
I was very single.
No. If I were stuck on a boat ferry or whatever for 24 to 36 hours, whatever, with my cousin, and I almost banged my cousin on that ferry, would you say that I banged my cousin? You didn't beat Golden Axe. You almost beat Golden Axe. So, that's all I'm saying. You can build 10,000 bridges. Nobody calls you a bridge builder. But I'm just saying.
But is your cousin hot?
You know he is. I'm playing.
Fine.
Okay.
Well, he looks like me, so I mean, boom.
No, I'm talking about K-Biz.
Oh, yeah, in that case, that's...
If K-Biz is
next to
listening, I
godliness.
guarantee he is beat red right now. K-Biz, I'm so sorry. I use the likeness of K-Biz to illustrate how... I'm with Sick Jake on this one. Show me somebody who can beat Golden Axe, especially in under $1. I'll even up the ante and be like, in under $1. And I will wear a t-shirt that they make for me to wear.
It's like for 1 credit clears. There actually is a guy I watch on Twitch, El Rock. He's a speedrunner, and he does a lot of arcade games, and he's been trying to do, or has been doing, 1 credit clears of X-Men, actually.
Oh, shit. Wow.
It's really awesome.
That's even more impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved X-Men, but I was not ashamed that I had to put quarters into because I had a hard time.
What I know we had talked about Ninja Turtles. Do you guys want to get some stuff off your chest with that?
Well, it's a good game. I thought somebody would pick it. Right?
I think it didn't get picked because we all probably assumed I was going to pick it, and then I didn't pick it because I figured you guys thought I would pick it, but also because of X-Men. I mean,
how neat is it though to show that Konami made so many amazing beat 'em ups over the decade, right? Like,
yeah.
There were even other beat 'em ups that I saw that were nothing we mentioned. There was one, I can't remember the name of it for the life of me, but apparently it played a lot like the X-Men arcade game.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a different property, like unique to Konami altogether.
Oh, it's a pachinko machine.
No,
I get that one.
we're talking old Konami, not current Konami.
Okay, I gotcha.
Did you guys ever play Contra? The arcade?
The arcade game, yes,
Uh-huh,
I got
yeah.
nowhere in
No.
it.
Yes.
I
it's
did
so
not
it's
know that existed.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's awesome. I had forgotten also that it was an arcade version until my brother and I had downloaded it from the Xbox or the Microsoft store, right, on his Xbox. And we started, I'm like, this doesn't look anything. Oh my God, I remember this. And it was like this, what the fuck? Oh yeah, I've repressed this memory.
Yeah, that'd probably be me with Double Dragon. The Nintendo version is the version I grew up on, and
Yeah.
then when I finally got to play the arcade, I was like, "Oh my God, this looks so cool!" And then I hated it. I was like, "This is worse."
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's real
It's
hard.
not very good. You're
Well,
right.
Yeah.
Same thing with Punch Out. In fact, I know we're trying to stick with Konami, but maybe we should have an episode where we discuss arcade versus NES and why is NES so much better, even though arcade looks better. We should do that. That'd be a great episode. We'll put it on the list.
We already touched on that with Riger.
Oh, there's that too.
Yeah, but who remembers what episode number that one was?
Hey, man, it's our number one episode. Number one, literally, and also in downloads. So there you go.
Wow.
Well, I mean, it does have the bonus of being the oldest. So
Yeah. And I think the only one we all actually did research for.
yeah.
Okay, no. So I did research for this episode, and one of the
Okay.
games I almost picked was Metaphor. I can't remember the name. Metaphysical Force. It's basically Altered Beast, but Konami did it, and the music is a rock soundtrack. It's really epic with really amazing bosses.
Huh.
And it was a unique IP that Konami put together. It did terribly. No, they didn't do anything else afterwards with it.
Mhm.
But 4 characters, they play a little bit differently. They each take an animal form when you get a power up, and it's a full-on Konami beat 'em up like Ninja Turtles or Simpsons. And I think it's really good. I played that with my kids.
You
Should've
almost
played
picked
that
that one?
I almost picked that one. Yeah.
Okay, now here's a follow-up question. If I were on a ferry with my cousin for 24 to 30... I'm kidding.
Well, there's a difference between cousin fucking and picking an arcade game.
I'm not
I
hearing
mean,
the difference there. Wow. Man, this one got really weird. But it fits.
Another one for explicit.
Oh,
Yep.
man.
We're
Yeah.
sorry, Zimbabwe.
You guys had a good run while I was gone.
I'd like to make a shout out to Tadpog while we're talking Rachi.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck.
I love those guys, man. If you had a runner-up, then my WareWulff, what would you take? Because I know what my WareWulff. I know what my WareWulff would be if I had to have a runner-up.
I didn't pick my favorite is the problem. I just picked one to talk about.
Okay, well, what's your favorite?
I'm
then?
sorry, okay?
The Simpsons.
I like The Simpsons.
Okay, that's fine. GP already dropped his with Nintendo Ninja Turtles, maybe? The arcade version?
Yeah, but no, I'm second guessing it for one that's basically identical to X-Men, which is that Captain America and the Avengers. Sure. The like gray and white version of Vision, Hawkeye, and Iron Man. And
Is that the one with
it's-
Submariner?
I don't remember him being in that. No, I think it was just those 4. But it's the one that starts off every episode or every stage with "Okay, go," and that, along with Colossus's orgasm noises, is like, again, one of the most quintessential arcade noises in my
Yeah,
mind.
Marvel had some really great
Yeah.
arcade
They
games.
did, man.
Marvel versus Capcom.
But yeah, Ninja Turtles the arcade. I think if I search my heart of hearts, wherever I left that, it's got to be Ninja Turtles.
I'm going to go, this is not a beat 'em up, but just because I'm such a fan of the series, it's going to be Haunted Castle, a.k.a. Castlevania.
That was in the arcades?
Mm-hmm.
Is it beatable or is it bullshit hard too, like Contra?
It's bullshit hard too,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's like Contra. You can still beat it in like 8 minutes if
Oh,
you know what you're doing.
I can't beat it. I'm still working through that one.
It's NES hard, even though it's arcade. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, that's interesting.
well, it's AKA arcade hard.
Yeah,
Arcade
there we
hard,
go.
yeah. Well, that's the thing too. Like arcade games were designed to be hard on purpose, right? That's how they made money.
Guys, this is wonderful. Did anybody else not list their alternate pick?
I guess my second probably would have been Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. And honestly, like, that title deserves a seat at the table. So what can
Well,
you
I think
say?
Ninja Turtles is the reason why I think we came up with this topic in the first place.
Oh, whoops.
And then we didn't talk about it.
We could do a whole episode about that one though. Like
That's
I
true.
don't know. I think arcade stuff is kind of underserved, and not
Really
not
is.
just on the podcast, but just in the for as commonplace as video games have become, arcades. Which you're right. You said this earlier, and it was exactly on point. The graphics were always so like impressive when you're a kid compared to your at-home systems, that it was always just such a treat to go and look at how real these games look, quote unquote. That it's interesting they don't have more love.
And now it's kind of the other way around.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a dying industry, which is sad.
No, like I go see arcade games, like current arcade games tend to look like they looked 15 years ago still. Higher frame rate, but the graphics haven't improved.
Virtua Fighter 17.
No, not quite that, but I'm talking about like they all look like somewhere between PS2 and PS3 still.
Oh yeah.
The problem is the hardware, right? Like, so I have the Mister, which I love my Mister. The one thing it doesn't do as well is, I know. One of the things it doesn't do very well is arcade games, right? Because the Mister does systems really well, but there's no one arcade system. They're all individually developed. There's some
Yeah.
overlap, like the Capcom CPS2 and CPS1. They had multiple games for that hardware, which is smart because you save money in manufacturing. But a lot of arcade games, you might have had one or two different games on the same hardware, and that's it. So I can see why it's dying out nowadays, unless you want to slap in a PS5 into an arcade system or something. But I don't see it. I don't even know if there
Yeah,
are
it's-
new arcade games anymore outside of. Well, are there?
But they do that at Walmart already.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think most of the new stuff is, got the guns that you can cock and then just trying to shoot stuff.
Like Deer Hunter 2020? Is that a thing?
Right, which I feel the quality went down after 2017, but whatever. But no, they're always, if there's a Terminator movie that came out in any given year, I feel like there's a new arcade game for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So, but I mean, yeah, those are all kind of, I don't want to say the same. I'm sure there's differences, but I don't know. Chuck E. Cheese always seems to have some new shoot 'em ups.
The last time I went to Chuck E. Cheese, though, it was all mobile games, like Doodle Jump on this massive, comically large screen.
Oh, and like Fruit Ninja and stuff like
Giant
that.
Fruit Ninja,
Yeah.
Deal or No Deal, which I like Deal or No Deal. Yeah,
Crossy Road's my jam, though. Like for real.
like
Unironically,
Crossy
I fucking
Road,
love
but-
that game.
I don't want to pump a quarter into it every time to play, or $1 at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I think
Guys-
the most recent arcade game I've seen, and I know this is going back a little bit in another tangent, was Cruisin' Blast. That one's a 2017 game. It is very pretty in a lot of ways, but even that one, like, it seems more about the frame rate than it does about the actual graphics aside from car models.
That sequel to Cruisin' USA?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Nice.
Never even heard of that one. I have to check that one out. I love Cruisin' USA.
yeah, I hadn't either. I don't know what happened to racing games giving you another race if you get first place in the one you pay for, but that's
Oh, that's
gone.
bullshit. The races are like 3 minutes.
It's $1 for a race, win or lose. It's $1.
Oh, that's stupid. What a cash grab that is.
It's a cash grab meets the reverse of everybody gets a trophy. It's like everybody gets, a punch in the face. I'm not great with metaphors. I blew my metaphor with the fairy thing.
We only need one an episode.
There you go. I don't need to overload it with that.
Yeah.
There's the audiogram.
Yeah. So I think we should wrap this one up. There's still so much more to cover in regards to arcade games, Konami or otherwise. So I think, if you enjoyed this one, you should definitely continue to follow and subscribe. Speaking of, I know we don't hit on this stuff too much. We do have some content that's been coming out for Patreon. So if you're into that whole scene, check us out. Do that. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, actually, so for the month of March, which is when this episode I think will come out, Paul and I did some commentary over Masters of the Universe, Dolph Lundgren classic, with Franklin Gelia Skeletor. So if you like that movie and you have a copy, you can listen to our commentary as we watched it.
And if you're listening to this one after the reboot has come out, we're talking about the 1987 movie.
There's a reboot movie coming out?
I think so.
No.
Yeah, there's a new Masters
And it's
of the
about
Universe
time.
in development.
Don't you dare future-proof this, God.
Press me to cancel in 2030.
Yeah. All
We
right.
loop
So
it back around to Rygar.
let's right. It's a giant time loop. This podcast. Let's kind of sound off here. WareWulff, where can everybody find you?
Twitch and Twitter. Search WareWulff on Google. Tell it you meant it. I'll come up.
I thought you said you weren't giving us that every time.
It's not every time. I've left it out a few times, haven't I? There you go.
Damn it.
Sick Jake, where can people find you? What are you up to?
See, now I feel like I need a tagline. Hold on. Yeah, I'm Sick Jake. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter, SICJAKE, and you're welcome.
I like that. No, here's what you need to do is Sick Jake, SICJAKE. Tell Ask Jeeves that you meant it.
That's
And then you can't get sued.
current reference.
Wow.
Right?
Lycos.
Wow.
Web crawler.
Paul, just tell people where they can find you, please, sir.
You can find me at geocities.com/Paul109.
Search Alta Vista.
Yeah, my ICQ number is 106.
I still remember my SQ number.
Oh, I don't, man.
You're going to want to go ahead and pop in your newest AOL disc and find me. All right, cool. So, no, wait, where can they find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/Palsh109. That's PALSH 109.
Love it. And then I am Guy Prime for the Retro Therapy. As mentioned, I've been on a bit of hiatus for the past month and a half. But you can find me on twitch.tv/the Retro Therapy. Otherwise, of course, here on Press B to Cancel. Until next time, everybody, I've been charming as hell. We'll see ya.
Insert coin.
Pizza.
There you go.
What's wrong?
Insert pizza.
Oh, man. Special thanks for music go to Arthur the Last Ancient on Spotify or The Last Ancient on Bandcamp. For more episodes, please visit our website at pressbtocancel.com. And also, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Patreon. As always, thank you. This has been
Press B to cancel.
Press B to